All right, so we got invited to the beta for Final Fantasy Dissidia Duellum, right? Which is, if you guys don't know, it's the new Gacha game for the Dissidia IP for Final Fantasy. And I just want to start by saying I'm really thankful for Square for giving me that opportunity, right? As my favorite franchise ever, man. I've always tried to play every single thing that does come out from Final Fantasy, and it's really cool. I felt valued, right, like as a customer to participate in it. But let me just start off and tell you guys that this game is not for me. The core gameplay of the game is based off of PvP, and it's a gacha game. So it's already like gachas and PvPs are two things that I just don't think should mix, and it really brings down the value of the game to me. But not thinking on that, I wanted to talk a lot about how I felt during our gameplay sessions of the beta, how I felt about the system. First of all, I wanted to give you guys a fair and just opinion about this game as a gacha game, as what it's trying to be. So right after that, I'll just tell you guys how I actually feel. First of all, the game, let's start by what I felt the game did right. And most importantly, I really liked the character designs. The world building that they chose for the game, being in the modern era, giving the characters all this modern, I guess you could call it drip. It feels really cool. It's really awesome to see your favorite characters in this kind of getup, and seeing them just fighting in the middle of Tokyo is something that is cool, right? It's something that is new, it's something that's fresh, and it totally is a setting where I would love to see my favorite characters like this. So I think they got the character design right. I think all the characters look good. I think the drip looks awesome. But that's about it. That's really about all I liked on the game. Like I said before, the game's main mechanic is a season. There's season ranked battles of PvP where you fight a boss and you're competing against another team, I guess you could call it, to see who beats the boss first, and then you can like PvP the other team to get brave points, yada yada yada, etc, etc, right? It's simply speaking, it's just that, and it's just not for me. It's not something that I like. It's not something that I want to play. But like I said, at least I got the settings right. If I'm gonna try to give, like, if this is what the game is supposed to be, and there's no walking away from the game being this, which there probably isn't. If I need to give good constructive criticism to the game, it's on the gacha system. Right, so just to start off, you have two things that you can pull for. And one of the things is character abilities. So you've got all these characters that you can use to fight, and you pull on the abilities for them to use. And the other gacha is the character draw. But the way that it works is a little bit different, which is cool. I haven't ever seen a gacha work like this, so I gotta give them that. Where as you pull for abilities, you get character tickets. Now, during the beta, every 16 draws, you get a ticket. So that means that every, like, UR pity, which is the highest rarity of skill, you get a character. And every character has, like, it's kind of the same rarity. So, like, you just get a character, or you could get 5 of these tickets and just pity the character you want. So I actually don't think it's that bad, considering that most gachas do have 2 banners. I don't think it's that bad to have 2 banners here. But there is another problem, which I'll get to right now. Wait, is that Gaia? Did he really add the girl made for 14? Brother, this game... Brother, this game sucked! The thing about Gaia, which is... like, I don't know, man. I like Gaia. I do think it's very specific. I guess, not specific, but it's like... You would guess they would pick any other 14 Scion character instead of Gaia, but they picked Gaia. And you know why they picked Gaia? They don't tell you this on TV, but the reason why they picked Gaia is because Gaia is the only character in 14 that's designed by Nomura. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. They only picked Gaia because she was the only character designed by Nomura. The problem about the gacha with the abilities is that you have a pity for a UR ability, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I could not find anywhere for the life of me a pity that would guarantee you a selector for an ability. So you have all these abilities, and the chance of you getting the UR ability for the character that you want is 0.2%. So you have a higher rate of getting a UR, which is 5%. That's a lot bigger than what other gacha games are going to offer you for the highest rarity unit, or in this case, an ability. But the chance of you getting the ability for the character that you want to play is insanely small. And if that was only it, I don't think it would be that bad compared to other Japanese gacha games. Japanese gacha games really have sucky gacha systems. But what sucks here, that is insane, is that every character has 2 UR abilities. So if I wanted to max out my Renoa, I would have to get Angel Wing and Meteor. So not only does this banner not have a pity that you could select one, even if you're pulling at like 300 or whatever, you need to pick 2 up. And guess what, man? This is a normal gacha game. If you get Angel Wing and Meteor, that's not it. You've got to get them, 5 or 6 times, so you can fully limit break it. So for you to 100% best in slot a character, this is way, way, way worse than anything that Hoyoverse offers. So I think this is absolutely freaking insane. And if we're trying to give constructive criticism, if the game is going to be this, then you've got to do something about this. Add, at the very freaking least, add like a 300 pull selector so that people can finish their characters without having to sell their kidneys. This is insane. And it's even more insane because this is a PvP game first and foremost, brother. So you know that there's going to be people who are going to go bankrupt and just completely max out a character. And then, dude, you're gonna fall with those guys. I don't know, and to be just 100% honest, I don't know how well done the matchmaking is. But at one point, you are going to fall with those guys, and you will not win. They're like fucking guaranteed. I might be wrong. Of course, I haven't played that much. But dude, this has a shit stain written all over it because of this. So that's the biggest criticism that I could give is do something about this. Help people be able to complete a character without a complete freaking financial breakdown. Oh, the probability of getting 2 specific URs you want is 5, which is point. Holy shit. But it doesn't really need to be one after the other. You can just get it in how many pulls, right? So that's my first and foremost criticism. The second one is there's a reason why most gacha games are not at their core, at their base value, a PvP experience. Because a lot of mobile gamers, man, a lot of gacha gamers don't like that. I dare I say that the great majority doesn't, because the great majority is just casual, and casual people don't really give a shit. So add a single player campaign, because right now, from what I experienced, there's no story, there's just a ranked mode, and that is it. You do have solo battles here, like casual, but no, it's not casual. It's over. Where is it? Challenges. Yeah, take on solo challenges to bolster your characters. But yeah, they're just like leveling up missions, right? This is just where you farm your stuff to level up your characters and your abilities and whatever. But at the same time, that is it. This is the single player experience that the game has to offer. It really feels, and I'm going to talk about this later, but it really feels like they just had absolutely no money to develop this, man, right? And coming from a franchise like Final Fantasy, I don't know. Anyways, so that's the 2 things I'd like to say. Gameplay-wise, I'm not going to talk about it because I don't like the gameplay anyway, so I'm going to be severely biased if I talk about it. But the 2 big criticisms that I would give for things that I would want to see is a way to max out your character without going absolutely bankrupt, and something for people that don't want to do PvP to do that gives them an experience. Single player campaign. Shouldn't be that insanely hard to do. Make it like a visual novel. Who cares? Just give me something. Because at this moment, it feels like they did this world building where everybody gets, isekai'd to Tokyo, but they didn't know what the fuck to do with it. They just, well, monsters are appearing in Tokyo and that's it. That's about it. Definitely not a game for me. Not something I'm going to play. But, dude, if you don't mind the insane disparity that, free-to-play players are going to have against people who just pay to win, then maybe this is for you. This is a fair criticism. This is what I'm going to relay back to them on the survey, right, that you have for the beta. And again, I thank Square for letting me participate. But I can't take it anymore, and I now let me tell you guys how I really feel. It's 3 things. They're either stuck in the past, they are horribly ignorant of the mobile gacha gaming scene, so ignorant that it's almost unbelievable, or they're just trying to scam you. And I say this in the most respectful way. I know that not everybody in Square has all the to do with the decisions made for the game, especially the devs from the game. They probably have no say, so they have no problem in this. And absolutely inside Square, there are people who are 100% against things that were done here, right? All old men decisions, yes, absolutely. And what I mean by that is, first of all, well, Ktsu, the game is for Japan, man, right? And you would be correct if you're telling me that. The game is just supposed to be a mobile game. It's for people to play on trains. It's for people to like just. It doesn't need to be that pretty or whatever. And it's really not for a Western audience. Yada yada yada. I understand that, and I know where it's coming from, but I think that's insane amounts of copium. Because if we take this game, what we experience from this game, and we compare it to, let's compare it to gacha games right now that are famous in Japan and that are optimized to be played on the phone. Goddess of Victory Nikkei, insanely huge in Japan. Like, out of this world huge in that country. I would never play this over Nikkei. The fact that it's a game from Final Fantasy, my favorite franchise, is only going to take you so far, dude. I would never play this game over playing Nikkei. And let's not go even that far, right? Let's just say Chaos Zero Nightmare just freaking came out, optimized for the phone. Who the fuck is playing this instead of that game? Really? That boggles my mind to think. Even in Japan. Not just talking about Western people. I can't believe they did this. I can't believe that you put in money, time, effort, and years to create a game like this, and you don't research what's going on in the gacha scene? If I were a producer, a director, whatever the fuck, if I was in any leadership position at Square, and I saw this game, the first thing I would tell them is like, listen guys, no offense, but this is what you're putting out to compete with Goddess of Victory? To compete with Chaos Zero Nightmare? Hell, bro, even to compete with your own games. Opera Omnia and War of the Visions. Shit on this game. Easy. And those games are dead. Those games are over. If those games didn't work out, do you think this is going to work out? This is... I cannot fathom. I cannot fathom. No, yeah, and it's crazy to me. And the last rant that I want to give out here is... Not the last rant, sorry. Two more things. First of all, it really, really, really feels like Square Enix just put in the least amount possible of money in this game to milk those, if 10,000 people play the game, but 2 of them spend like, thousands of dollars in it, it's already worth it for them, right? We're talking about like kind of like on a month. So it really feels like they just put out whatever bullshit they can for the least amount of money so that they can literally freaking steal the money from these people who are more ignorant to how the game is going to work. So they can just shut the game off after a year, collect the cash, and leave those guys who spent thousands of dollars in the game because they love the characters without a game to play. It is unbelievable. But when I see shit like this, I can't help but go completely nihilist and feel like, well, you guys are just scamming your fans at this point. And I might be wrong, but this is how I feel. This is how Square makes me feel as a fan. It's just really disappointing. One more thing. Square, for the better part of a decade, I want to say, Square has been always saying to everybody, oh, we're going to invest a lot of money in mobile. Oh, we need to go to mobile games. Mobile games are the future. They're where the money's at. We're going to spend a lot of fucking money. We're going to like develop all these games for mobile. That's our goal, right? Or whatever. This is our direction. Sure. You did make a lot of mobile games. They're all dead. When you reached 2021 and you saw Genshin Impact come out and break the mold for gacha games, break the gacha games into the mainstream, you've by now had 5 years to copy that shit and make something that was that good. Like what everybody else did. Everybody else looked at Genshin Impact and was like, fuck, I want a piece of that. So I'm going to try to make that. No. Instead, what you did is you created gacha games that were very subpar compared to what the market already had to offer. You created gacha games that are all dead now because you freaking got companies like Gumi to monetize your shit. You made Forspoken, who lost you so much fucking money that even though Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Final Fantasy 16 sold well, they didn't sell enough because you were too busy making shitty-ass Western games for gamers that don't exist, for fans that you don't have. So you lose all of that and not do the one obvious thing to do, which was copy Genshin Impact. How can you have people in your leadership positions that have the direction to make mobile games, to make gacha games that will turn profits, and they look at Genshin Impact and decide, no, we don't want to do that? You have an IP like Final Fantasy Dissidia. You have so many characters people already love that people would spend their freaking life savings on. All you had to do was something on that level, on that quality, and mimic their gacha system. Could you imagine having a Dissidia-style Wuthering Waves game? I would be playing that game so hard, I would have already probably lost my kidney to get a, to get a C6 Tifa, to get a C6 Terra, to get a C6 Agrias. How do you not see this? It is unbelievable to me. So you spend all these years doing this, putting gacha after gacha out of service. Meanwhile, Hoyoverse makes so much money with their system that they're building a freaking nuclear power plant. What is wrong with you? How do you not see that? How do you make Forspoken instead of making that? You had ample time. It is out of this world. And if anybody has, has some ideas about this, like if I'm wrong about anything that I'm saying, please post it in the comments. I really want to talk about this. I really want to understand because I can't bring myself to understand. I can't bring myself to believe that the people who are giving Square Enix directions are so completely out of touch with the gaming environment that they want to succeed in. It is out of this world. And now you've lost so much money that you have to pull shit like this game to literally scam your players, your fans, out of their money. That's about it. Ran over. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Let me know if you guys agree, if you guys disagree. I really want to talk about this. And everything that I say here comes from a guy who's been a Square Enix fan since 1997. I've grown up on their games, played every single game that I could, bro. Square Enix used to be, not Square Enix, but Squaresoft to me, right? They used to be this company where I could pick up a game on the shelf and see the name Squaresoft there and be able to buy it with zero restraint because I knew that it was going to be a game that I was going to love. When the hell did that stop happening? When the hell did they start wanting to make Forspoken? So this year you've got 33 something Frenchmen that had to make the next Final Fantasy. And let me tell you something. If Expedition 33 wins Game of the Year, which I think it should, I'm going to hold that onto Square for the rest of their freaking lives, dude. You could have made this 20 years ago. Easy. And you didn't. So now fuck you. The fans, the old JRPG fans had to go and fucking do it because you're too busy making Forspoken. It's insanity. It's insanity. I'm up. I'm down. I'm up and I'm down. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much. Subscribe to your boy. See you guys later.